welcome to episode 2 of The Day Away from Her Point of View with me, Isabel.
And me, Charlotte. In this episode, we're going to have a recap of what's happened this week at Rochdale, and we're also going to do some match analysis because we've got a couple of games to catch up on, haven't we?
We have 2 games.
Well, very busy schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, we just really want to say thank you for all the support we've received after our first episode. It's been a bit crazy, hasn't it, Isabel?
It's been so overwhelming, and do you know what? It's really lifted our spirits as well, because obviously we was quite nervous when we put the first episode on and wondering what everybody's reviews of it will be and comments, and they've just all been so positive, and it's really pushed us to wanting to do more and doing, finding out what people like from it and keep doing it. And we just really appreciate everybody who took the time to listen to it and made some comments on it as well. So thank you very, very, very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. And it was really good as well, actually, because we obviously went to the Dale game on Tuesday against Stevenage, and we saw the Her Game 2 posters, didn't we?
Yeah, literally so buzzing, because we went, I saw it in the ladies' toilets in the main stand, and I was like, yes, we are getting people who will see these posters around the ground and think, yeah. And I think people will think, oh, Her Game 2, that poster, or the Day Away podcast. I think people are going to put 2 and 2 together now.
Yeah, 100%. And we've had really exciting news as well, because we've actually been asked to do our own feature in the Voice of Scotland programme, haven't we, Isabel? Yeah. Which is like, whoa!
So everybody look out for that.
Yeah, honestly, that was so overwhelming, weren't it? When we spoke about it, it was like, what? Because obviously for years now, we've been collecting programmes and stuff. I just think it's mental to see our podcast logo and something we've written in the Voice of Scotland programme. It's like, oh my God.
Absolutely insane. And that's all because of everybody's comments and positivity from the video as well. So again, we want to thank you all so much. And also we've been getting asked by quite a few people to do interviews on their podcast as well. I know, Charlotte, you've done a couple. But again, just thank you very much.
I know it's so overwhelming, but you're all so kind. So we really, really do appreciate every single person.
We have a good fan base, don't we?
We really do. And even people from other clubs have actually listened to our podcast about Rochdale and been like, oh, and some have subscribed on YouTube as well, which I'm like, that's really sweet. Really sweet. Hearing us two talk our Rochdale, bless them. But yeah, thanks everybody.
Thank you very much.
So what we're going to do first, just going to have a recap of this week actually about Rochdale. I want to start first of all with, we were speaking about it on our last episode about our chairman and how he's always looking out for the club, the fans. And I just think it's amazing how for our FA Cup second round tie against Plymouth, they've actually reduced the prices again, haven't they?
Yeah, I know. It's just one step ahead of the game every single time, and it's like he just continues to impress us and think that is our chairman. And it's just really nice to see that, especially because he could have put the prices to double, especially with it being on TV on ITV.
Yeah,
he could definitely have put the prices up, but he's just so good.
I love him. We need to start an appreciation club, don't we, for him?
The Simon appreciation.
Yeah. If you're listening, Simon, me and Isabel love you. But yeah, it's adults. It's for both home and away fans. Adults can get in for £10.
Yep.
Young person in concessions is £5, and juniors, which obviously is classed as under 12, is £1. Kids for £1. That's just epic, isn't it?
And I'm still classed as a young person. I'm 20 and I absolutely love going in for the same price as my granddad that comes in. My dad's fuming. He was like, why am I not a pensioner yet?
Unfortunately, I'll probably get in for the concession soon. No, we won't go that far yet. But yeah, just just like moving on from that, I just think it's amazing. It's like, even for the club, Robbie Stockdale, obviously, like, it's his first managerial role at a club. And I just think for him to be able, him and the rest of the team, actually, it's like a bunch of young players to be able to have the opportunity to love themselves and what they're capable of doing. I just think it's amazing. And obviously the money Dale get off because it's on ITV, it's just that kind of money. It's like pocket money for higher clubs, but for someone like us, that could like
it makes all the difference.
Like, yeah, it really does.
And as well, like, it will be a good game. It could be a good game because Plymouth are like top of League One at the moment.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think their form at the moment is they're doing very well. So it's going to be a good game as well. So I think with the TV as well, getting it on ITV, I'm so gutted because I can't go because it's the one weekend I'm going to London. But we will be sat in a pub in London watching Rochdale. We will go to any pub and just say ITV best be on this pub. I don't care about City. I don't care about Premier League. Anyway, no, absolutely not. ITV is on in a random pub in London.
I love it. And yeah, our next news flash, I want to talk about something what I think is absolutely disgusting, and I just think we're seeing more of in this day and age, and just in football in general, but even in society itself, I just think is so wrong. And that's Abraham Ado. He's been targeted this week with obviously some racial abuse from social media, and we just want to say that we're fully behind him, aren't we, Isabel? We fully support him.
We are right behind Abraham and we fully support him, and it's just so disappointing and so, like, it really turns my stomach over. It's just disgusting. And when I saw it happen on, I think it was either Monday or Tuesday, and I was like, the poor guy, the poor lad. Honestly, all of Rochdale and all the fans are behind him and are with him. It's just horrible, and nobody should ever have to experience that. And Abraham, we love you, and we are behind.
Yeah, we do. We really do. Yeah. And just, it's like getting onto like just everything in general. It shouldn't matter what race you are, what colour skin you've got, what sexuality, what gender you are. We're all equal. Mm-hmm. We are all equal, and no one should ever be discriminated. And yeah, like Isabel said, we are totally behind you. We totally are, Abraham. We love you.
Another one, Abraham appreciation page again.
Yeah. We're literally the groupies for everyone. Yeah. We back everyone.
No, but what was lovely as well was on Tuesday night at the Stevenage game, Abraham was on the bench. And obviously in the main stand, when one of our substitutions come running out for the first time, we applaud each one. But when Abraham came out, he must have been at the fourth or fifth. He got the biggest round of applause and cheer. And I think majority of the Sandy Lane and also cheered him. And it was just like, we are here for you, Abraham. And it was a nice, like from a club's point of view, from the crowd's point of view, in the middle of a game, just giving him that 30, not even 30 seconds, about 10, 20 seconds of a big applause for him was really like, really heartwarming. And it made me really happy for him. Not for us, but for him to know, because he applauded back and he obviously put on social media, thank you for all your support. He just knows that we're here for him, and we're not all like that. And it's just, whoever is like that, it's just, shouldn't be on this earth, in my opinion.
Yeah, of course. And I know it doesn't obviously take away that comment and what that person said, but it must be reassuring as well that not everybody is like that, and the support and obviously the round of applause he got from our fans, it just shows, doesn't it, that we all are behind him. And just that one idiot of a person, just they get me so angry.
Yeah,
they really do.
I know.
Really do. It's just not fair.
It's not. And like you said, it doesn't matter what colour you are, it doesn't matter what gender you are, it doesn't matter what sexuality you are. We all love football, and we should not be getting hate for liking football for
Exactly.
whatever we are.
Exactly. And just expanding on that, we actually had some news at Rochdale. They actually tweeted about it that the EFL are set to host their first ever LGBTQ plus fans forum as part of Rainbow Laces campaign, which I just think is absolutely amazing. Like, it's just all these things like the kick out of racism. We've got obviously the Rainbow Laces. We've got the Her Game too.
Yeah.
It's just, we shouldn't have to, like, people shouldn't have to do these campaigns. But obviously, these things, they do crop up in football. There is, I'm going to say, a minority of people to the majority that obviously do have an opinion, and they're quite vile and ignorant opinions. But I just think it's amazing, like, how all these campaigns are coming on board and how many people actually support them. And from like a fan's point of view as well, it's nice to see like how many clubs are supporting these campaigns, and even the EFL itself. I just think it's absolutely amazing.
It's like you said, we shouldn't have them, these campaigns, because we shouldn't get in hate for whatever we are for liking football. But it's the fact that it's there, and it's very, like with Her Games too, I'm very like, I follow it, and I'm so glad it's there, because if it wasn't there, then I don't know who I would go to. I don't know. It's like when we us two obviously have the same experiences in football in terms of being a female, and if we don't have these kind of campaigns, then we won't get that closeness with other people. Similar.
Yeah.
So, it's nice to have that. And it's nice to have these campaigns to find other people who have similar hobbies and likes to you. And without these campaigns, we won't find that. So,
yeah, 100%. And just our last pointer in the news, which honestly, I was so chuffed when I saw this. And I had the privilege of featuring in their last episode. RochdaleAFC.com's podcast actually went to the Northwest Awards, and they won podcast of the season. And both me and Isabel listened to that podcast, and we love it, don't we?
Absolutely amazing, guys. And we really congratulations, because that's such a great achievement. And to have such a small club like Rochdale to win that podcast as well, absolutely insane, guys. Round of applause.
Yeah. I just want to congratulate it's Dean, Chaff, Luke and Ryan, because they started the podcast during lockdown, and we were all in the same boat. We all didn't have much to do, and it just kind of, for me personally, it just kind of kept me going, listening to it each week.
Yeah, it brought up our spirits. It just made me think, right, football's not on anymore, or it's not on as much as, but we can't go to it. I'm going to listen. I started listening to it, and it just made me think, right, it's okay. Football is still there, whether it is on or I'm not going to it. And just congratulations, guys, because you really did bring a lot of people's spirits up as well as mine.
Yeah, and they're a really good group of lads as well.
Yeah.
Really are. Yeah, well done, guys. Well done. And now, should we get cracking on our match analysis? Because we've got a couple of games to get through, haven't we?
We do. So obviously on Saturday we played Walsall, which was a 0-0 draw, and then on Tuesday we played Stevenage, which was a 2-2 draw. So
this draw is getting a bit like
drawing.
Yeah. So yeah, Walsall. The lineup for Walsall was Lynch, Dorset, O'Connell, Taylor. I love Max Taylor.
Honestly, I love him as well. I think there was a stat the other week when they played Walsall and did 90 minutes, clean sheets, about 8 blocks. It just shows why he needs to be starting.
He's just solid, isn't he? I do like Max Taylor, I really do. So yeah, Taylor, O'Keefe, Keahan, because unfortunately Aidy White was set to play, but he got injured during the warm-up. So it was just the usual Keahan in for White.
Yeah.
Then Liam Kelly. I do like Liam Kelly. I really do.
He's such a tidy player.
He really is.
Five is actually nice to watch. Like he's just so clean and so impactful.
He really is. I just like, he's always there as well, isn't he? He's little like, oh, I love him. Aaron Murray, Josh Andrews, Jake Beasley, and Alex Newby. So that team, I'm quite impressed with that team. It's like we played a similar team for Stevenage as well, didn't we? I quite like that team and formation.
Obviously, I think this was the first league game that Lynch got brought back in. Obviously, within the cup game earlier in the week. So this was the first game that Lynch came back in, and I thought he played absolutely incredible at the Walsall game. Some of the saves that he made were amazing, and obviously the clean sheet is just brilliant for a goalkeeper. But some of the one-on-ones that Lynch had was some of the blocks brilliant.
Yeah, honestly, it's like people say we have like a league keeper, we have a cup keeper, but even after some of the saves he made during the Notts County game, I don't think he could have dropped Lynch.
No.
Do you not think? And I think, to be fair, no offense to Coleman, because I think Coleman's also a great keeper. Yeah. And I think it's really nice because we've not seen it really in a while where we've had two great competitors for obviously goalkeeper, and I think that's a great thing.
It's really healthy in training as well, because you have someone there to be competitive with. So
it kind of makes you up your game. I'm not saying they're lazy in any and no disrespect to them, but it makes you like up your game, and it makes you want to do better, because obviously you've got that other person just behind you who could easily take your place.
Yeah, definitely. And you've got that kind of, like you said, some healthy competition in training, and you're like, oh, well, he's just done that, so I'm going to do a better save. Like, it's just going to be like that in training. And like you said, he couldn't have dropped Lynch because he played so well against Notts County. And
he really did.
He really played well against Walsall, I thought.
It really did. So, yeah, as we were saying, against Walsall, neither side could find a winning goal, could we?
You know what? Like, before the game, I didn't know what to expect. It could have gone either way. And on the day, we could have won, we could have lost. It was just one of them games. And obviously, a point on the road and clean sheets, perfect. Yeah. You do want that from, especially from an away team. But at this moment in time, we are still on the unbeaten run. So that's also a bonus as well.
Yeah, 100%. It's like first half, I personally thought Walsall had the better chances. I didn't think they were any better than us, like technically or football wise, but they did have better chances.
Yeah.
Connor Wilkinson threaded through our back line, and he released actually ex-Bury forward, speaking at Bury links. It always gets back to Bury, doesn't it?
Fortunately.
Ex-Bury forward George Miller, and he went one-on-one with Lynch at the time, but fortunately Lynch came out the better.
Do you know who I thought as well had a very good game? O'Connell had a very good game at Walsall. I mean, he's a very good player, so there's no shock about that. But some of the clearances and some of the just one-on-one with obviously the strikers, very, very, very professional.
100%. I genuinely think, I thought the defence, obviously Corey O'Keefe had a brilliant game. Then 3 chances where he could have had
over the bar, hitting the bar.
But you know what? Who I think really had a good game, and he didn't really get the credit for it. I thought Jarell Dorset actually played so much better, and I personally think it's because he has Taylor and O'Connell, with him in defence. And I think obviously they've got more experience. I think personally they're a better partnership with each other, O'Connell and Taylor at the back. And I think that also makes Dorset more comfortable, because since Taylor's come in, and this is no disrespect to Sam Graham, because obviously he's not played much league football, he's a young lad, but I just think with that experience of like Taylor and O'Connell, it's kind of settled Dorset a little bit, and I personally think that he's been playing a lot better.
The thing I have with Dorset and Taylor a little bit, they don't come out very much. They don't come up the field. You see, O'Connell is more of a defensive midfielder at the moment sometimes, and he will bring the ball forward up to the midfielders. at the moment, Dorset and Taylor aren't doing much of that. They are doing a lot of kicking it back. And I would just like to see, I think they're a bit nervous. I think they'll just get a bit nervous. And obviously, a lot of players will get nervous. But I think if they wanted to go one step up, they need to start bringing the ball forward a little more.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
That's my personal. But I agree, Dorset. I thought Dorset did have a good game as well.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think with Dorset, I think having O'Connell and Taylor with him, it just seems a bit more comfortable than when obviously it was Graham, himself, and O'Connell, because obviously Graham could be a bit nervy.
Yeah.
And obviously Dorset can be a bit nervous. So I think that then puts more pressure on O'Connell as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think that's a positive. I really do.
I do really like the Dorset, Taylor, and O'Connell defensive.
Yeah.
Like you said, don't get me wrong. I think Sam Graham can be a great player as well. But at this moment, in the past couple of games, I think they have really played well together as a three.
Yeah, I do too.
Obviously, as well, moving on to a little bit of the Stevenage game, we had Andrews and Beasley up front. What did you think of that?
Do you know what, right? When I saw Andrews and Beasley up front, I was so relieved, because I feel like with Beasley, I feel like it was just totally lost on his own, like up front. I know we've got like Newby, we've got Ado, we've got when Conor Grant plays, we've got them helping him, but I just think we needed that partnership at the front. Yeah. Because Beasley, like, I really like Jake Beasley, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I think he's great. Like, the amount of running that guy does and stuff, and his work ethic. But I think sometimes he was doing that much and then there was no one else there. And I just think having Andrews as well, it's like, you look at Andrews, he's 19, you look at how tall he is, he's solid. And I just think when you've got a man like that next to you, I don't think I've ever seen him lose a header as well. He wins every single header.
I mean, he's so tall, I didn't have an excuse not to.
I know. But yeah, I just think having him with Beasley up front, I just think it like helps Beasley so much more. I really do.
Yeah, obviously the Stevenage games, they've both got a goal each, which is absolutely brilliant. You want that for your strikers. I do think at the moment Beasley is a little bit touch and go with his performances. I think he needed Andrews next to him. However, we'll have to see what happens at Exeter. But I do think that he is a little bit nervous at the moment. He's not very confident. And I'm not sure that is, whether it will help him with Andrews next to him now. Obviously, he got a goal, so that's a great step forward. And obviously, Andrews got a goal as well. I just think he's not very confident at the minute, and it's not nice for your striker to see that. For your club to see that from your striker. So I'm hoping that now that Andrews is next to him, he will carry on having great games, carry on scoring, and we'll see what happens. But at the moment, I'm not too sure if Beasley is in form at the moment.
Yeah, I feel like with Beasley, like, it has the chances. Yeah. But it's worrying, like, how much we have to rely on Beasley and how many times he's not scoring the chances. Yeah. And I'm not saying they're all Jake Beasley, by the way, but we had 26 shots. 9 of them were on target. We had 26 shots. And you think we drew 2-2 and we had 26 shots?
It's not the best. And I thought in the Stevenage game we should have been about 2 or 3-0 up, and that's our problem. We cannot at the moment be when we're doing well, we just can't justify them with goals at the moment, and that's why I think that we're getting these draws and not a lot of wins at the moment. Because I mean, obviously draw is better than a loss. However, you just want to be like, when you're playing that well and your midfielders are bringing the balls through and crossing them in, you want to be 3-0 up or 2-0 up before half time to really just scare the other team away. But we're just not doing that at the moment. and we need Beasley to be scoring these chances, and
not even just Beasley. It's like
Andrews and all the others. You know, it's not.
Yeah, Alex Noob is my favourite player for obviously Dale at the minute, and it's like some of the chances that he can miss as well, and some of the chances you need your strikers, you need your forwards, you just need anyone to score. Like with your Ian Hendersons and stuff, you kind of always knew they were going in and the wonder goals that he'd pull off, and I just feel like we haven't, and I don't think we've had it in a while really. We've never had for a while, we've not had that typical like get 20 goals a season or that typical goal poacher.
We've not had one who's Henderson, let's be honest.
Yeah.
We've not had it, but I mean, we obviously had Humphries last season, and that was great to have him back. He did score quite a few goals, and Lund had a great season, but it's just not been the same since Henderson.
Yeah, we still haven't. Like we were saying, we've never had that goal poacher. And that's what I used to love about your Chris Dagnalls, your Grant Holtz, your like Adam Lafondras, stuff like that, who'd score goals. And I think that's the worrying thing for us. It's like looking at stats and stuff from previous games. It's the amount of shots we are having, but we're just not putting them away. And it's so annoying because it's like we'll leak goals as well. And the chances we're missing out on, but then the other teams are obviously going scoring, and then we're ending up losing points because of it. And it's just frustrating, isn't it?
It is, and it's just one of them that hopefully it's just a little bit of a segment. Hopefully it's just a bit of time, and in the next couple of games, like we said, we've got Exeter at the weekend. Hopefully we will see Beasley score at the weekend. Or we'll see more of midfielders. You know, like I said, like you said, we can't just blame Beasley. We want to see these chances being scored and not be. You just got to take these chances. How can you not? I mean, the 2 goals against Stevenage were very scrappy goals. We've got to admit they were very scrappy goals.
Yeah, like it's like the first goal. It was the only mistake Liam Kelly made all game, and that was just he lost the ball. And obviously their player went on to win the ball, passed it to the striker, and then obviously went and scored.
A very good goal. You know, you can't fault it. It was a great goal. I think with the second goal, just after half time, where are we marking these strikers? They're I can't remember what he was called there up front, but I think he was number 7.
What was he
rapid. He was absolutely rapid, and he was outrunning O'Connell. He was outrunning Max Taylor.
Was he called List or something? Is it List or something?
I just remember being number 7 because all game I kept saying that number 7.
He was quality. He was absolute quality. But he was just an instance, weren't he? He was one of them players that you'd absolutely love to have on your team.
Yeah.
But against you absolutely hate them.
You just needed Abraham's got to be a defender for a bit to have the same bloody pace as him.
Oh, his quality. I love Ado.
I know, literally. I think he's absolute quality at the moment. And it was I thought he should have come on. I thought he should have come on in like the 60th minute. But yeah, I thought we needed a little bit of a change from about the 60th, 70th minute. I thought we need something to mix it up a bit and, you know, put up more pace on. Obviously, Kia Hain got injured. Not nice to see one of the players get injured in the first half as well. We're really hoping that he's okay. We'll probably find out more in the week. But Conor Grant came on for him.
I like Conor Grant.
I really like Conor Grant as well. But when he first came on, I thought, you're not very settled here.
Yeah.
And I think after half time he got better, but I didn't think he was very settled until half time. Now that if Jimmy Keohane is injured for the weekend, then maybe Conor Grant will start at the weekend and he might have a better game. He might be more pacey, but I don't know. I just thought it was his chance to show Robbie on Tuesday that he should be starting and he should be.
Yeah, I felt a bit sorry for Conor Grant because obviously last season when we first started him and stuff under BBM, I thought he really shone and he really did shine. And then obviously he ended up early this season. He caught COVID, obviously, unfortunately. And then obviously since then, I just feel like it hasn't really gone right for him. Like it's been a bit stop-start, hasn't it, with him? Like he'll feature in a game and then obviously you won't see him for a while and then he'll make an appearance off the bench. And I don't think he's quite, like you said, I don't think he's fully settled yet, has he, this season? And he's been able to like show what he can do.
No. Obviously, towards the end of the Stevenage games, he was passing from the back again. I was with my granddad and he said, "Why did he come on?" And he just started passing from the back. If he wanted to be starting, he should be showing him all this forward play. And
yeah.
Obviously, we got Dooley onto where Keohane's side where Keohane was and being more of a defender, so we did need somebody else to be in midfield. But I just thought Conor Grant was being more defensive and more sitting back in the Stevenage game. Obviously, like I said, he was better in the second half, and we'll see whether he'll start the weekend. But I really think it was his time to show Robbie that he should be starting.
100%.
He is one of the midfielders that he should go to when he's picking the.
100%. Because you think we've actually got quite a few midfielders this season, haven't we? We've obviously got the likes of your Liam Kelly's, you've got Conor Grant, you've got Morley, you've got Dooley, Broadbent.
Yeah,
it's quite a big group, which we've not really had in seasons previous to this, have we?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm hoping, because I do really like Conor Grant, and when it's his day, he's an absolute brilliant player. And I'm hoping obviously, like if he does feature at weekend, we'll be able to see more of him and the Conor Grant that we saw last season, because him and Ollie Rathbone together last season were just, I thought they were great in midfield.
No, they were. And that's what we want to see from Conor Grant this season. Obviously, we've not seen him start as many games, but if Keohane is injured and he is going to be starting more, I want to see that back. I want to see that now with Liam Kelly, or I want to see that more with Newby. Let's just see what he can do now.
Yeah, 100%. And I've noticed with Robbie Stockdale as well, he's not shy of mixing it around. So obviously, if he feels like someone's played well the game before, he'll give them a chance the next game. It's like we said with the goalkeepers. Obviously, Lynch played brilliant against Notts County. He didn't deserve to get dropped, even though Coleman had no reason to get dropped because he was doing all right in the league. Yeah. But he's proved himself. So, yeah, I think the same with the other players as well. I really do.
So I sent this tweet earlier in the week from Dan Ingham, who I follow, and I just wanted to read it out. It says, 17 games in, 4 points off the playoffs, 11 clear off the bottom two. I think that's brilliant considering everything pre-season. Seem to be building a bit of form as well. Hopefully can kick on and get a few more wins on board before Christmas. And I think that's brilliant. I mean, obviously we're around mid-table, like 13th, 14th. And, 4 points off playoffs and 11 clear of the bottom two. Fantastic. And especially with a new manager, and obviously how worried we were in pre-season, it's what you want.
Yeah, 100%. And I actually mentioned it on the podcast I was on last night, and they asked me like how the season was going. Yeah. And I just said personally, at the start of, obviously in the summer and at the start of the season, I would have 100% taken finishing just above relegation, or maybe like mid-table at a point, because I just thought obviously like Robbie had 3 weeks to sort a team. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we didn't know what was going on behind closed doors with all these takeovers and stuff going on.
Yeah.
And just to stabilise the club, get them into a position like on and off the pitch where obviously we were safe.
Yeah.
Obviously, just sort what was actually going on. Because obviously, we mentioned it last week, didn't we? Like with David Bottomley and stuff, and we had no idea what was going on. So I would have honestly taken above relegation. So I think, obviously, it is frustrating because we were doing all right at the start. And I was planning my promotion party in like September.
It got to just before, Burnley game. We were winning until the Burnley. Yeah. We had an unbeaten run like we are doing now. And then obviously we played Burnley. I mean, we were. I won't expect.
Did I tell you? I broke my finger celebrating Jake Peasley's goal. I broke my finger.
Stop it.
Honestly.
That is enthusiasm to a T.
Oh, honestly, the celebration.
I know,
I
screamed. Screamed.
I thought it was going to be like Spurs or Manchester United all over again.
But no. But yeah, on the Burnley game, and then obviously we played Oldham after that. Two defeats. It's just, I thought we could be up for promotion. Now obviously we had a really bad form, a couple of losses, a couple of late minute equalisers. You know, mid-table at the moment I think is great for us, and I can't fault the players. I think we need to keep on a little bit now. Let's try and get a couple of wins in the bag. Now we've got quite a few draws. We want to carry on our unbeaten run. A draw is better than a loss.
Exactly.
Let's hope that Exeter, we can hopefully bring a win, even though they are up there. So it could be a challenging game.
Yeah. It's one of them where it's just it'd be so typical of Rochdale. I always find with us, when we're mid-table, near the bottom, I find we play better playing the teams who are higher up. Yeah. It's like last season, was it Lincoln? Was we near the bottom and we ended up beating Lincoln away?
Yeah.
When we won, and I was like, what?
It's just unheard of, but it's just classic Rochdale. We'll lose to bottom of the league, but then we'll win top of the league.
That is the Dale way. The Dale way, isn't it? Literally. But yeah, I just think hopefully like we can turn these chances into goals, because I think at the minute that's the most frustrating thing, because we are creating the chances, but we're just not scoring. Like we're just not putting them away.
Yeah, we have had that problem before, but I think we need Cashman on. Why not starting Cashman at the moment? I really can't understand it.
That's what I don't get. It's like, is it because we've got that many injuries? Like, he's still not fully fit. That's why he's not risking him, but he has to have him on the bench. I've no idea, because it's like when he's brought him off the substitute bench, he's either had an impact or he's scored a goal. And I just don't understand why he's not even getting even like 10, 15 minutes on the pitch. That's what makes me think, is he fully fit, or are we having to obviously put him on the bench because we've not got the squad? Yeah.
If he is fit, I think we should drop one of our starting players. For example, if Beatty carries on the way he is, I think we should drop him and start Cashman and see what happens. I mean, obviously we can't see what happens in training. We don't know what happens behind closed doors. Danny Cashman might be having a really bad time in training at the moment. That's why he's not starting. However, I think if it carries on the way it is and we're not scoring these chances, I think we do need to change it up a little bit. And Danny Cashman, I think, would be up there in the changes.
Yeah, and that's what makes it interesting as well, because it's like we're saying this now about, obviously, we've got these forward players. What happens in January? Do we sign another striker?
We get a more experienced striker on loan, or I don't know. I really don't know what we're going to do. I think at the moment, if it carries on, we probably will sign a striker.
Yeah.
I just I hope we sign Corey O'Keefe, but that's another story.
Oh, Joe, that's honestly. But if we do that, if we sign him or at least have him until the end of the season, that would make my year. I don't want any other Christmas present. Yeah. I don't want anything for Christmas. I just want to sign Corey O'Keefe. That could be my Christmas present.
Dear Santa, please sign Corey O'Keefe.
Honestly, I pray every night. Please sign Corey O'Keefe. Amen. No, but it's like, actually, this is interesting. We'll actually talk about this in January. Where do you think we should be strengthening, and do you think we will strengthen in January? Obviously, apart from us wanting Corey O'Keefe to be permanent, or at least having him till the end of the season, what other areas would you improve on?
That is a good question, because I think solidly we have got a tight end midfield. Obviously, your main guys, Morley, Liam Kelly, Newby. I think we have got a tight in midfield, so I don't think we need any more from the midfield. I think it's either going to be the strikers or defenders we're going to worry about. obviously if Sam Graham is injured, we might want to is injured for a while, we might want to bring another defender in, maybe a more experienced one. Whether that will bring off Dorset or whether that will bring off is Dorset for the rest of the year, or is Dorset till January?
Most of them for the rest of the year, apart from Corey O'Keefe.
I'm not sure. I'll have to have a look. But like I said, I think we need a more. If Sam Graham is injured, we're going to have to bring in another defender, and I think we're going to have to bring in an experienced striker in as well.
It's like that left back role, because obviously we don't know what's going on with Jimmy Cahan at the minute. Obviously, Aidy White, he's very experienced. I do like, when I've seen Aidy White come on, I think he's got pace. I think he's a tidy defender, but at the same time, from previous seasons and from what I've seen so far, he's quite injury prone.
Yeah.
So it's like, would we try and get somebody in to obviously fill that role? And obviously, like we've both said, do we get in another forward? Because obviously you've got Beasley, we've got Andrews, but I just feel like maybe we are putting too much pressure on Beasley, and maybe he doesn't have a rest. He's not got the chance to have a rest or have a break, has he?
No, but then again, it's like he is our number 9.
Yeah, exactly.
Is what we expect of him. However, maybe maybe the midfielder do swap the game a little bit and start scoring.
Yeah, and it's, even if we do get a forward in, maybe we need a forward, because obviously we've got Andrews, but maybe we need that competition for that forward place, like we have for our keepers and our midfielders. Maybe we need that little bit of competition to make them fight for that place, and maybe them hit form kind of thing. Because from at the minute, and I absolutely love Jake Beasley. He's one of my favourite players.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's been so good for the past couple of years, and he really is he's a trier. He tries so hard.
The work ethic and just the effort he puts in. But I just feel like maybe we do need that other striker to fight him for his place. And even, like we were saying, we just need a goal poacher. We really do. Someone who's there.
Just tap it in.
Yeah, just a tap in.
I feel like this whole episode has just been Jake Beasley. Jake Beasley.
I know. Bless him. I do like Bees.
I do like him as well, and I think a lot of Rochdale fans do like him, but at the moment it just needs to be scoring more.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like even that with Andrews the other day, the goal from Stevenage, what he scored just proves that we need that goal poacher there, because he had a shot and literally, did it come off the post? But it was still there to then.
Yeah, just have it in.
Yeah. And that's what I think we need, just someone there.
Yeah.
We need that little annoying player that just scores easy tap-ins and it's just
all the time. At that
what we love,
keeper.
Yeah, what we love, but then other fans really hate.
That's the kind of the Stevenage.
Yeah, because we've done our match analysis, we've had a bit of news.
Yeah.
I think we should just talk a little bit about Dale. I think we should just really talk about what our best moment, our least moment.
My best moments, I have a few. I have away and home. My home has it will never change. I mean, Spurs is up there. However, it's just got to be the Charlton game at the end of, I think it was, what year was it? Oh my God, 2018, 2019, I think it was.
Yeah, 2018.
Oh, Joy Thompson, you are the love of my life from that day. Honestly, coming on, scoring the winner, and then that about 10 minutes of waiting for the Oldham and Northampton game to finish.
That was just torture, wasn't it?
It was horrendous. And the players were in a huddle in the middle of the pitch, and everyone's heart was pumping, and everyone was checking the phone, refreshing, listening to the commentary. Obviously, Northampton were already relegated, so they didn't even need to win. They could have put the worst team out, but they were winning. Then I just heard someone go, "Yes!" And then we just sprinted up the pitch, and it was just, it couldn't have been a better feeling, especially for Joey Thompson to score, considering everything that he's been through.
Yeah.
So to me, that was a very heartwarming day. Also, staying up and sending Oldham down.
Yeah. Do you know what makes it better as well? I think the Charlton fans were actually still there, and they pretty much straight with us.
Yeah.
And I've even got Charlton fans on Twitter, and still to this day, they're always like, "Oh, it'd be such a great club, Rochdale," and "Oh, that moment," and we were so happy for him. And I just think that's so.
I think they needed to win as well, because I'm sure they were like one off the playoffs, or they might have been in like sixth. So I think they really needed to win, but they still had the heart to stay behind afterwards, even after losing. And
I know.
Celebrating with us, which I thought was lovely. But my favourite away game, I'm going to say United.
That was so Luke
Matheson.
Legend.
He is a Rochdale legend. Was he 17? 17-year-old Rochdale legend. Absolutely unbelievable. Obviously, when you had Mason Greenwood score, you think, oh, well, there you go. But I remember looking at the time, I kept going, 5 minutes, right, we've still got a clean sheet. 10 minutes, right, still got a clean sheet. They haven't scored. 15 minutes, right, okay. Just kept looking at the clock because I was so worried. Obviously, Pogba had just come back from injury as well and started, and I was like, well, he's just gonna ruin us.
Gonna annihilate us, just on his own.
Yeah, obviously we were 1-0 down, and then Luke Matheson just put it at the top of the roof of the net. It was the best feeling.
It was the celebration and everything.
I know, it was like, yeah. But also, have you listened to at the time it came out, Keith Hill was commentating.
Yes.
This was with when BBL was in charge. Keith Hill was commentating. He went and he was just going absolutely mental. And it was like, that's what we're about. It's our ex-manager on the commentating and just absolutely buzzing for this 17-year-old kid who he has probably brought up the ranches into the first team. Oh, just to have it at United as well, because I've never been to Old Trafford. I've never seen a game.
Yeah.
Rochdale going to Old Trafford and scoring an equaliser. You can't top it a lot, can you? Obviously, it's 10 minutes. We don't talk about that bit. We just
yeah.
the video at like Matheson scoring. We never looked at it. I don't know what I mean.
It's just the commentary of it as well. Yeah. When obviously, like when you see the goal on the highlights and it's Matheson.
Yeah, it's Matheson. Yeah, definitely. They are my two favourite home and away memories. What about yours?
Well, my favourite home one, I'm going to go for something different. But like you said, obviously, when we stayed from relegation, that'll always be like one of my top ones. Mm-hmm. Probably the top one, but I'll go different. And I'm going to say, there was Spurs, don't get me wrong, but I absolutely loved it when we played Leeds in the cup, and we beat them 2-0, and it was Hogan scored, and Henderson scored a chip. He chipped the keeper, and I just thought it was epic because it was dead funny because all these Leeds fans were drinking in Haywood where I live. Yeah. So before the game, literally, Haywood was just was just riddled with all these Leeds fans. And
what year was that? Was that 2014, 2013?
Yeah, 2014. Which year was it?
I think it was 2014.
Was it 2014? Yeah, and it was just I
do remember that, to be honest, because I remember it was one of the first games that I was going to now. I think that was the year that I became a season ticket holder. Yeah. And it was one of the obviously it was one of the first games with my season ticket, and it was an FA Cup game, and I just remember my dad going, Isabel, we won't win this. We just won't win this. It's Leeds. It's going to be a big derby. It's going to be a bit you might be a bit overwhelmed, but don't expect to win from this. And I was like, you what? You what, Dad?
I know. It was so funny because obviously at the time, Leeds had problems with. Yeah. I think it was at the stage where it was manager after manager, and it was actually Brian McDermott who was their manager at the time, and just seeing thousands of angry Leeds fans because we just beaten them. It just made my day. It just really made my day. So I think that one's definitely up there. And obviously the Spurs game at home, obviously, not the away one. We won't talk about that.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. Even though we were 1-1 at half time. So does that count?
Yeah, talk about that bit. We won't mention the second half. But my favourite away game, has got to be. It was our first season in League One, and we played Southampton away, and it was just going from walking out at, like, no disrespect to them, like your Accrington Stanleys, your Macclesfield, all the smaller grounds, and then walking out at St Mary's, and I just looked around. I remember my dad said I was like a kid at Christmas. I had this big grin on my face, and I just went, wow, this ground's big. I was like, I'm sure I was like in my 20s at the time.
Wow, this is big.
I was like, wow, this is big. And I was just so chuffed. And we actually ended up beating Southampton. And it was when they had back-to-back promotion. So that season they got promoted from League One to Championship. And then they went straight up again the season after. And we ended up winning 2-0. And it was a Chris O'Grady goal and Gary Jones.
Yeah.
And
Gary Jones.
I know Southampton had Oxley Chamberlain playing for him. They had Punchin. They had like some Lallana, some really big names playing for him as well at the time. Obviously went on to play in the Premier League. And it was just epic, like walking out at that ground and being like, wow, League One is very different to League Two. It was a bit of a like, wow.
Yeah, like obviously with League Two, a lot of, now that when people say, what league are Rochdale in? When you say, I'm a Rochdale fan, I've had a lot of, what league are they in now? League Two. And they're like, oh, so they're not relevant then. And I'm like, you know what? I would love to see you go to a League Two game, because I think you'd find it so much better than a shitty Premier League game, to be honest.
Honestly, it's just like, and I was actually saying this on the other podcast I was on, and I was just saying how much better it is to be a lower league fan, because you feel more appreciated, but also you feel part of it. And it's like I was saying to there were Sunderland fans who was on the podcast.
Yeah.
And they said since obviously going down the leagues and being in League One, they found like the players and the management team to like be more like, they have more time for the fans and the younger fans. And I was just saying how much Rochdale has always been really good for that. And it's like the training session I did the other week, isn't it? Like having the time to like sign every person's football boot or shirt or have a picture with them. And that's what annoys me sometimes about the Premier League, because don't get me wrong, I'll watch it. If there's a game on, I'll enjoy it, but I could never be that fan. I could never pay that amount of money for a ticket, or like be in a draw to win a ticket. Do you know what I mean? To get to go to a game, and I could never do that. And that's why obviously like I love being a Rochdale fan.
I went to a couple of games with my ex, and he was a City fan, and I remember going to a couple of games with them, and the atmosphere was just like, I was like, you're so far apart from everybody. There's so many people there. Yeah, there's loud music. Yeah, you get to see Aguero and at the time Company and all these mega famous people. But I'm like, yeah, that's great, but I couldn't do this week in, week out. I would much rather go to the kiosk when there's about 5 people in it, and go and sit down in my freezing cold seat with Up the Dale chanting, than to be in a massive queue with central eating.
And that's what makes it I love being a lower league fan. And don't get me wrong, League One, I'd love to be back in League One again, but it is what it is, isn't it? And hopefully we crack on soon, whether it's this season, whether it's next season, whether it's the season after, we'll still be there supporting them, won't we?
Yeah, we will.
What's been your worst moment as a Dale fan, would you say?
I've got a few.
We've got
where I felt, oh, you know what I mean? Like, wow.
Yeah.
But I can't remember who we played, but it was in last year when we were watching from home, and it must have been like 3 games before the end of the season, and we still had chance of staying up. But we needed 3 points. It was a must-win game. We played away. I really cannot remember who it was against. And we ended up equalising 3-3 in the last minute. And it just was like, that's it. We're going down. And I remember, because we watched it at my dad's house, me, my dad, and my granddad. And I was like saying all game, we're gonna win this. We're gonna stay up. We can't equalise now. And it was 3-3, equalising in the last minute. And I just walked out the house and just cried in the car. It was genuinely heartbreak. I've never felt like that ever. And I think that just shows how much I love this club, my club. But it was genuinely worse than heartbreak.
Honestly,
awful.
Mine's exactly the same. Last season, getting relegated, and it's just for the sheer fact that we could have stayed up. The amount of times that we ruined it for ourselves. Yeah. And I think what made it worse as well was the fact that none of us could even go to cheer them on. None of us could go and support them to try and boost the confidence. And it was just awful, but not just that. It was just like what's going on with the club in general as well, wasn't it? Like, it just wasn't our club anymore, was it? And it just felt so different to previous seasons. And like how it is now, it was just a horrible feeling. A horrible feeling.
It was just one of them that you're like, Fleetwood. No, it weren't. Let me think. I'm just trying to figure out which. Wimbledon, AFC Wimbledon away, 3-0. 27th of April, 2021. It was the worst.
I think I cried after that match. I'm sure I've got a bit.
I was in my car. They scored a 96-minute equaliser. And, oh my God, honestly, I've never felt heartbreak like that. It was absolutely horrible.
I'm sure at the time it was when Twitter fleets were a thing, and I'm sure I put a big smiley like selfie or whatever, or a video on at halftime, like yay, and then at full time I was like delete. I'm sure I deactivated my account for a little bit. I was like, no. I just wasn't for it.
I went to my mum's house after that, and my mum was like, what's happened? I was like, Rochdale's they just equalised in the last minute, and it means that we've been relegated now. And my mum was like, oh, it's just football. I was like, it's not just football.
Horrible.
Yeah, that. And do you know what's up there? Losing to Oldham this season. I was angry. That was a different type of upset. I was angry. Half my family are Oldham fans, half my family are Rochdale fans. So my dad's side is Rochdale fans, and mum's side is Oldham fans. I got so much stick. They was like, this is what it felt like when you relegated us last season, the other season, and I'm just like really biting my tongue because we have been playing so well. Why the Oldham game did we have to lose our bloody
every game?
I don't get. You could have lost to anybody else. Why Oldham? Oh, it really did rattle me. Oh, that was more angry than upset.
I'm trying to think if there's any others. Like, I think for me, I think it would just have to have been like last season, and I think I was more gutted about getting relegated that season than when we did like the previous time, because it was just like, yeah, we've been relegated, it is what it is. But last season it was just because the amount of times we could have done better, and we could have got points, we could have got ourselves out of it, and then to be like 1 point behind Wigan and get relegated, and then to go and win on the last game of the season. It's like, are you taking the mick out of me?
Like 1 point, well, 1 goal different points off being set up, weren't we?
It's like, are you taking the mick?
I remember just thinking, because I was still so annoyed at the time, I remember just thinking, I'm not watching it. I'm not watching the game. I'm sick of them putting me through.
I did the same. But I was checking the score on live, so like,
yeah.
Yeah, I did. This is literally being a Rochdale fan. It's like I had a big massive rant, a speech and everything at my mum and my dad. I was like, no, I'm not watching it. I'm not watching it. And then comes the day, I'm like, I'll just check the team news. I was like, I'll just have a cheeky look at how we're doing. I just can't keep away.
Honestly, and then we bloody won 3-0.
Oh, I know. Should we wrap it up now?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it'll be interesting, like how we're gonna do like against Exeter, and just, do you reckon he'll go with the same team? Obviously
Keir Hain now. Yeah, Keir Hain is out, so he will have to, whether he'll bring in Conor Grant, I'm not sure, but I think there could be a few changes. I hope that Abraham starts. I think we needed a bit more pace on Tuesday, so I hope that he starts. Other than that, I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I'm hoping, like we were mentioning before, I am hoping Cashman gets his chance again soon.
Yeah.
Because I just think we need that fresh set of legs and that new, that new person, that new, like, instead of going for the same, like, obviously attacking, I think just to freshen it up a bit. And like Josh Andrews, I think, is doing really well at the minute, and it'd be interesting to see how him and obviously like Cashman play together, because I think in cup games in particular, can't remember, was it the Liverpool game? So the Liverpool under-21s, I think both of them actually featured, and they played quite well. That was Liam Kelly's first game as well, because he scored a wonder goal.
Yes, he did.
I do like Liam Kelly, I really do.
Tidy player. He
really is. And do you think he'll still Lynch now? Can you?
I don't think, even though he's had a clean sheet and he's had a 2-2 draw. So, but I think he has played very well recently, and I hope he doesn't get dropped, and I hope he has a good game as well, and Exeter and just prove that he is the number one keeper for this club at the moment.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously midfield depending on whether Morley is back, because obviously he went off at the Walsall game.
Yeah.
Didn't even did it at the Stevenage game.
I feel like that's what we needed at the Stevenage game.
Just something fresh. Yeah. What's your score prediction? What are you thinking for Exeter? Because they are second in the league, aren't they? We're still 13th. I feel like we've been 13th for ages.
Yeah, I know.
Lucky number 13 for us.
I think that we will be lucky to get a draw. And I'm worried that this could be at the end of our unbeaten run at the minute. It could be the end of it. I hope not. But I think that we are in for a chance of getting a draw against them, and I hope it's going to be a good game. We could win. Like I said, we're full of surprises, but I think for the minute, I'm sticking with a draw, maybe 1-1 or 2-1.
I'm gonna go. Do you know what? Because I just feel like it's a Rochdale thing to do, and I just think typical Rochdale will probably end up winning against someone higher up in the league. So I'm gonna go for a cheeky little win, and I'm gonna go for a 2-1, and I reckon Newby and Andrews will score.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna stick with a 2-2 draw, and I think I'm gonna hope Beasley. I think I really want him to do well, so I'm gonna say Beasley. I'm gonna say Odo. Abraham.
Good choice. Good choices. I hope he does score as well, Abraham. Just, it's one of them where I think with Ado in particular, I think he's playing really well this season, but I think if he gets a goal or two just to boost his confidence and then hopefully go on a run as well, I think that's just what he's missing at the minute, just because everything else he's doing absolutely fantastic. But if he gets a goal, then hopefully that'll be the start of many.
Especially with what's going on at the moment as well, with how much of a cheer he would get if he'd scored, because of
that'd be absolute scenes, wouldn't it, if he came on and scored like the winning goal?
Literally.
Or scored. Oh, what a change now for an adult hat trick. I'm joking. No, I'll stick with my hat trick. I think I got a bit carried away with myself. But yeah, we just want to say thank you to everybody who's listened again to the Dale Way.
Yeah, thank you for our continued support as well.
Yeah, it's really nice. And like I said, like with all the comments and just people's opinions and stuff about the show, it's just been really nice. And if anybody would like we said last week, if any other women would like to come and join our team, just for another opinion, isn't it? And another voice.
Definitely remember, this is from her point of view. So we would love to have more Rochdale Dale fans onto this podcast so we could get somebody else's opinion, somebody else who's a match analyst.
Yeah, and speaking about opinions, I think it's time for us to play Hit and Miss. And if anybody who didn't listen to last week's episode, Hit and Miss is a game where we kind of reminisce about Rochdale chants, and a hit is our favourite Rochdale chants, and a miss is our least favourite. So here's Stacey with hers.
Hi, my name is Stacey. I've supported Rochdale now for about 18 years. Home and away, up and down the country. My favourite chant has to be Up the Dale. My favourite player at the minute, coming back into the team and helping score the goal at the weekend, Max Taylor. I don't really do favourite players. I've always seen it as a team game. So each player will always have good spells, good moments and whatever else throughout the season. My favourite chant would be Up the Dale, the original Up the Dale. My least favourite chant is anything with really swear words, just because I've started to take my 6-year-old daughter. She doesn't even swear at home, but it's going to happen. I can't stop swearing happening at football. But yeah, it'd be nice if it didn't happen.
Thank you for listening, guys.
Thank you very much for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye.